Hi, I'm Shane with the Drum Center of Portsmouth in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We're on the web at drumcenternh.com, and today we are talking about the Sonor AQ2 drum sets. The compact drum set market has been pretty explosive over the past 10 years. I'd say it started with Yamaha's Manu Katché Hip Gig Junior kit, but things really changed when Sonor came out with the Safari set. It was a $350 drum set with a bass drum, rack tom, and a floor tom, and man, we sold a ton of those drum sets. It was crazy how many of those we sold. And then Ludwig came out with the Breakbeat kit with Questlove. And then Pearl came out with the Midtown kit, and Tama now has the Club Jam, and I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but what I'm getting at is that there are a ton of these compact drum sets that are all in that $399-ish price point. And drummers really love the convenience. They're like, oh wow, I can have this drum set that I can throw in the front of my car, which is great. And it was in that excitement that created this spontaneous purchase, because let's face it, it wasn't very expensive. But what we've found is they don't really sound as good and they're not as fun to play. It's not that you can't get a good sound out of them with good heads, but one thing that is really inherent in inexpensive shells is that they do not give back. When you hit the toms, that wood tends to be very porous. It's not reflective, and so therefore it's almost like you're just burying your sticks into the heads and picking them back up. Whereas when you get to a higher quality hardwood shell, like birch or maple or something like that, the stick will have more bounce, you'll get a little more pitch bend on the sound. They'll sound like professional drums.
They just felt good, and there wasn't any fuzziness or any strangeness in the clarity. That you could hear the drums very easily. Something that I noticed right away was the kick drum, how prominent it was and how easy it was to play, how balanced the sound was, and the snare drum. I found that it just had a really pleasing tonal quality to it overall. It got out of the way quickly, and there's nothing at all that was harsh about it. The next thing would be, its portability. Generally, for me, if I'm in the city, I want to be in and out in 2 trips. And I want those drums to be in my car, and I want to be home after the gig relatively quickly. And these will definitely get that job done.
So we all know that the Sonor Martini drums are great for jazz tunings and for small jazz gigs, but what I wanted to show was how versatile they can be. And I did that by tuning them a little lower than you think you should, and they still sound awesome. Another thing is that I did not change any of the heads. So these are all the stock heads, except for the front bass drum head, which I ported. But it's a testament to how good the drums sound on their own. And if you change out the heads, it's only going to get better from there.
For the Safari kit, it was sort of in the same realm as the Martini. You know, the sizes are a little bit different. The snare is made out of wood, and it tends to be a little bit drier, more articulate, right off the bat. So if you like the wood snare sound, it's really a great way to go. For the sizes, the 16-inch kick drum, it tends to have a larger sound right off the bat. I noticed that, you know, immediately it had this really great feel that didn't feel necessarily like a 16. Tuned up, you know, more in a jazz sort of tuning, you'll find that it sings well and it sings loud. It sounds pretty open, you know, if you like that slightly more open sound, but when you dial it in and you get the right heads on it, however you tune it, you'll find that, you know, you can also get a really beautiful, concise sound out of it.
I currently own the previous generation of the Safari kit and have always loved it, thought it was versatile, used it for small gigs, brought it to practices. It's a great kit for me. And this kit is just taking that to another level, and more tuning range, more tone, more everything. Everything feels better, they look nicer. I love playing them, they feel great too. If you're looking for something more towards the rock side of things, something that you can play at your rock gig and and really get a smaller, condensed version of a rock sound, the Safari kit is definitely the way to go. Martinis are great. They actually surprised me how nice they were tuned lower. But the Safari kit is the one that I would play, and it's the one that I feel like will satisfy that sound more.
Something that's important to remember is that these are not to be compared to the $399 drum sets. These are really good sounding drums. These will pass on a gig. One thing that's really great about Sonor is that even if it's a made in China set, any piece of hardware that you see on this kit originated and was machined and tooled on their machines in Germany. I've been to the factory and I've seen how they do it, and so the quality of the castings of the lugs and the mounts and the arms and the brackets, they're at another level than what you're gonna see from their competitors. And it's something you can feel good about playing, which is really important because it's really not about what you saved, it's about how much enjoyment it brings you.